Are there any drummers in the house?
I play percussion. That's because he couldn't play anything else.
Shut up. Come here, dude. Hey, man. Did you touch my drum set? I am warning you right now, if you touch my drum, I will stab you in the neck with a knife. Not quite my tempo. It's all good. No worries. Here we go.
Hey guys, this podcast is sponsored by Sweetwater. So right now, Sweetwater is doing some summer drum deals for this month. So this week, you can partake in their special financing options up to 48 months, which is pretty impressive. If I've done the math correctly, that is 4 years. I'm no math surgeon, but I'm pretty sure that's right. So yeah, they've got great financing options up to 48 months, interest-free. Also, they've got a huge selection of, brands, Tama, Pearl, Sabian, all the classics right there. Also, they have, exclusive products, bundles, blowouts, rebates, and price drops. So thank you to Sweetwater for sponsoring this podcast. So if you go to sweetwater.com/deal/drum-percussion deals, I'll put a link in the description. You can go check out everything that's going on over there. I am a Sweetwater user. I ordered my last drum set through them. I've also ordered some cymbals and some hardware, and also I got the Yamaha EAD10 as well. So big shout out to them for helping me with my percussion needs, and they can help you as well. Also, this podcast is sponsored by Toka Percussion. Thank you to Toka for being a sponsor of this podcast. So if you want to go to tokapercussion.com, you can check out their selection of cajones and congas, djembes, bongos, your auxiliary percussion. They've got it all, so go check it out. tokapercussion.com. Right now I've got the Jingle Hit. It's a 6-inch tambourine that you can use with your hand. It's mounted on a clamp, so you can hit it with your hand, or you can also hit it with a drumstick. It works great in multiple applications. Like I said, you could be doing some hand drumming and just want to accent hit, or you can do drum set and hit it with a stick and get a nice clear high kind of jingle. Not too overbearing, but not too underwhelming. It's just right there in the sweet spot. So go to tokapercussion.com to check that out, and thank you for being a sponsor. Hey guys, be sure to go subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, which now it's Apple Podcasts, I should say. So go like and subscribe, and also go like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and follow us on Twitter. Also, we're on YouTube, so if you could go subscribe to the show, that'd be great as well. And also, if you want to financially contribute to the show, that's great as well. You can go to our PayPal page and do that as well. So all those are great. If you could do all of them, it'd be awesome. But if you can only do one, that's awesome as well. So thank you for doing that, and go like and subscribe. Do it. Hey guys, welcome back to the Drumheads. Now, I have been wanting to do this for a while. Be doing the show again. I've greatly missed it over the past it's been about 2 months. And so I just wanted to kind of give you an update of what's going on. There's some dramatic changes that are happening with my personal life, but also that it will be affecting the show as well. So let's just cut straight to the chase. So I had all the intentions of starting to do the podcast on a regular basis. I had lined up to start interviewing, drummers and drum builders and, cymbal makers and all that fun stuff. But my wife's father got really ill. So she was spending a lot of time at the hospital with him, being there, encouraging him to get better. And unfortunately, I hate to say it, but he did not get better, and he passed away in June. So I wanted to be there for my wife whenever she needed me to be there for her. I didn't want to, act selfish and say, hey, sucks about your dad, kind of, but, I got to do this thing. And I didn't want to do that. I wanted, to be present in the moment and be there for her, but also for, my kids, who are struggling in their own ways that like only children can struggle with, comprehending death and all that stuff. So like my oldest son, he kind of gets it the most, obviously because he's older, but and then my daughter, she's my third child, she's also kind of gripping with it as well. She'll make the comments, they called him Pop, so she'll be like, oh, so I miss Pop so much. And I don't know how much of it is like sincere, like they really do. I know my oldest son it's very sincere, but with Bella, I can't quite tell if she's really understood the whole gravity of the situation. So but anyways, I just kind of wanted to be there and be in the moment and just do things we haven't necessarily done as a family, due to like I said, my wife was up at the hospital. If she would have been up there every day, but she was up there every other day. So we spent some time just relaxing, just getting back into a normal day kind of routine, and so that's affected the show. So now we have both reached the point where it's like okay, you can start doing the show again. I didn't want to have tell her I can do it. I didn't want to get into that situation, but it was just, it came up and yes, we need to continue doing the show because she helps me, because she's she does a great job communicating with the sponsors like Sweetwater and Toka. So we're making sure we still have those connections going on and whatnot. So, which brings me to the other point. You're probably like, well, what's the change in the show? So, if you're a long-time listener to this show, that we've had our ups and downs with the show when it comes to monetary funds, also to things like the shed getting flooded, the computer crapping out, just weird things just happen in everyday life. With that all being said, now my wife and I have found ourselves in a different situation that I want to say it's unfortunate that we're in this situation, but it's a blessing. There's not really an easy way to put it other than just that through my father-in-law passing away, my wife has received a rather large inheritance through life insurance and all that stuff, and it's now put us into a completely different situation financially, where I can actually do this for fun and not worry about money or stress. My life is going to be changing in so many different ways, and I'm excited. Do not get me wrong, I am thrilled to death about being able to be on my own time. I can do things kind of when I want and not freak out about, this or that. It's liberating. And I still can't quite wrap my head around it. It's like, really, this is totally different. We were not expecting this at all. So you will never hear me trying to bug you guys for money and things like that. The podcast now, or the show, is completely, we can fund it. It's, money is not a problem anymore. So I just wanted to tell you guys that, and just, like I said, if you want to contribute, that's great. We have people who do, and we continue to, thank them for doing that, but it's not like, we're in dire straits. So with that being said, also, Instagram is our biggest following. And so if you've been watching the feed, you'll be like, wow, why is he all of a sudden getting this stuff? That's the reason why, is we have some money. Some is not the right word. We have money now. And so I wanted to pay it forward to some of the people who have been really supportive of the show, like VK Drums. I have gotten he's in the process of building me a custom snare drum. So, because he sent one out for us to, sell, so we could get the laptop to get the show back up and running. So, I want to repay these favors to, friends of the show and things like that. And just, I, wanted to, pay it forward. So if you see things like, oh wow, that's awesome, it's like that's why all of this is happening all of a sudden. It's just the sudden change in income. So, and also the other part that's gonna be really changed for me is I'm going part-time where I work, which is so weird to say. It still kind of just blows my mind. So this goes into a broader topic of, talking about depression and anxiety and stuff like that. So that's something that's plagued me my whole life, is, depression and anxiety. And I didn't realize how much of it was stemmed from a couple of things, just lack of insecurity in myself, different situations in my life, but also how much a financial burden can be put on yourself when it comes to money, and how it affects the way you think, the way your attitude is, and all that stuff. So after talking to my wife, and this is things we talked about, after we received the money and all that stuff, is what do I want to do? What's the end game for all this? So actually, there was several things. I wanted to just quit my job completely and go work at a music store. I always like, that'd be such a great thing, because I enjoyed it so much when I worked in a pawn shop in my town downtown, and talking to musicians and things like that. And so actually, I actually had put in a couple applications and things like that, and I got some responses back, and they were like, yeah, but they're like, oh, we only pay. I didn't realize how cheap some of these stores pay. It's like $10 an hour, and I'm like, really? Okay. And they didn't really have a interest in drums. They were more interested in like guitars. I guess drums don't sell well, and I'm like, yeah, they do. You just gotta, you gotta market yourself the right way. I'm like, I was trying to tell him about like drum flip and the things that Ed does. He just pretty much does all drum stuff, and he's selling that stuff like hotcakes. So I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, so I'm like, well, all right, let's put this in terms that maybe will be good for my family. So I'm like, well, I don't want to be a supervisor anymore. So that was the first thing. I did not want to be over drivers. I did not want to be over people. I just wanted that stress gone. So that was the first thing. The second thing is, the thing that I enjoyed the most about my job becoming a supervisor, and before that, is I really liked working in the warehouse, organizing, stocking shelves. I like it. It's, my brain puts things into like puzzles, and it's like I have to figure it out. Is this gonna work? No, let's try this. No, let's try this. Go back and forth, and I'm like, all right, well, I like doing that, so let's do that. So I kind of actually, I'd put my 2-week notice in, and so my boss kind of was like, had this like, oh no, kind of thing, and so I said, all right, hang on. I know this is a notice. I can tell by your reaction that you're not a fan of this. So I said, let's talk. Let's talk. What can we do to make all of us happy? And so I pretty much said this. So what worked out great was I'm going to be working part-time, and it's going to be like a 9 o'clock to 2:30 shift. So I can leave at 2:30, be home. I live 15 minutes from where I work, come home. And it's amazing having that couple extra hours. I can do things with the kids. It's not a frantic race to, get dinner and, kids doing schoolwork or, other things. And just calm, just chill out. And so, or I can also, do more things with the show. So I can, do more videos. I can arrange more time to do interviews for the podcast, all that fun stuff. So, and then, when it came down, like, all right, well, what were you thinking money-wise? And the funny thing is, timing's everything, is they were actually looking at replacing me and moving me back down to what they call a lead driver. And so it just happened to be at this exact same time. So they were afraid they were going to make me mad by doing this to me, which I wasn't, because I hated that aspect of the job. I loathed it. And so when I said that, it just happened to be at the right time. Like, well, we're just going to bump you down to, being the lead, which it's not like a supervisor. It's just like the point person during the day. It's like, hey, who's going to go to this? Hey, you. Yeah, you're going to do it, and nothing major like that. It's just the point person. So, and they said, well, what do here's what we're going to do money-wise. So they pretty much just left me at what I'm making at now, which is awesome. And so that money is used for groceries and, internet, things like that, cell phone. So that is the big change in my life. And again, it still just kind of like puts me in shock and awe of like, wow, this is so weird. That's like the only way to really describe it. It's weird. It's like I feel guilty wanting to enjoy it, and my wife does to a certain extent as well. Like, what's the correct emotion? What's the correct thing to do? You feel bad and you feel great, and it's like you don't know where this all should fall in line. And we're still figuring it out. So I just wanted to come out and just give you guys that update. And, I don't want to leave you guys in like suspicion or anything like that. It's like, it's just such a earth-shattering thing. So, my father-in-law, he was very young. He was only 56, it's super sad. And, the situation leading up to it could have been prevented for sure. And things happened very fast, and, he passed away, unfortunately. And, and then of course, someone like me who suffers from anxiety and depression, like, I've spent a lot of time trying to make sure that I don't fall into that slump that I got into 2010 when my wife's brother passed away. So there's been a lot of unfortunate passings away on my wife's side, and so that one really got me, because it was with her brother. It wasn't even the fact that we were super close. We were cordial. He was Mark and I was me, and it was just that. But it all happened in 2010 when I was a new father. I was trying to find a new job, and then him passing away, and it just, my brain just kind of just shut down. It just processed normal day activity, eating, sleeping, driving, but like the emotional parts of your life, it just like kind of just clocked out. Like, time out. We're just not going to function for a little bit, and it's going to throw everything off. So, and that's the thing with depression. It's not predictable. It's not something you can quite grasp. And so I've been really trying to make sure that I don't fall in that slump over this, couple of months. And I don't want to say I'm proud of myself, but I guess I am, that I did not fall back into that slump. I managed to keep a level head. I was there emotionally, especially for my wife. And, at that point, when her brother passed away, we had been married for 3 years. And so, relatively new marriage. But, now it's 12 years. There's, not one kid, there's 4 kids. And, I'm on medication for depression, and for anxiety. So I didn't let it, I was one step ahead of it. Actually, probably more like 4 or 5 steps ahead of it. So if it started creeping up, I had the resources in place to make sure it did not consume me. So, but it's being, I'm 35, and, when my father-in-law passed away at 56, it's like, wow, that's not that far away. And so, of course, that makes you kind of feel, I don't know what's going on. I feel kind of funky. And yeah, so it's been just a wild ride for the past couple of months. And so, again, thank you to everybody who, sent out messages and text messages or emails and said, hey, just, stay strong, stay, focused and things like that. And, I'm super proud of my wife. She's handled this so well. And, there's been times that it's been stressful for her. It's mainly, the things you don't know how to really process. It's like, what do you do with all this stuff? What do you do with this? What do you do with that? And yeah, those are hard questions sometimes. And then, again, that's why I kind of just stepped back from doing the show so I could, focus on those things. It's like, we have this now. What do we do with this? We have this truck. I'm not going to drive it. So what do we sell it? It's like, what do we do? And you just got to take a break sometimes. And this was, I took a couple of weeks off from doing any type of social media stuff, and then I kind of just slowly crept back into it. So if you're a musician, and I think every story has some type of relatable part, is if there's an event that affects your life, like a death or a marriage or a birth or new job, you move, there's a lot of moving parts that can get dropped on the way there to the destination. And I realize sometimes to be in the moment, I gotta consume myself with those things, and some things have to be put on the sidelines. And in my instance, was doing the show. I love doing it. I'm still super excited about the things that are going to be happening with the show. But it is very, very important to take care of those things, because at the end of the day, a drum set is not going to, unless you are getting paid to, teach lessons and that's your livelihood. But for me, in my situation, no, it's not. The drum set's not going to pay the bills. It's not going to pay for my mortgage, or it's not going to do this and that. At the end of the day, it's a drum set. And so you've got to find what things are important to you. And if you, put too much emphasis on one thing, other things are going to fall apart. And I think I see a lot of people, it's like, you just got to keep pushing. You got to push. I don't agree with the whole keep pushing yourself, push attitude. I think if you take the time and you take the effort to figure out what's going on in your own personal life, you'll be better off. It's not a black or white issue. Me personally, I have to be in the moment, and I can't have, how people talk about multitasking and how they're so great at it. It's a bunch of BS. They're not. They're just lying. Something in that is falling apart. They can tell you all day, no, I'm great at multitasking. Sure. I'm not great at multitasking. I have to focus on one thing at a time and go from there. And I think most people operate that way. There may be a few people out there who can, multitask relatively well. I would say no one is ever perfect at it. And just go from it's like, hopping on stones. You get to that one, you get to the next one. And, you're not worrying about the ones behind you. You're not worrying about the ones in front of you. You're just worried about the one you're on at that moment. It's kind of a weird analogy, but that's the way it came out in my head. So, yeah, just take time for yourself. And there's been several times where I've came out to here and played drums and I didn't record it. I didn't hook up the camera. I didn't hook up the phone. I just played for me. I didn't feel like it needed to be out there for everybody, and that's fine. And I think if you can just do that and just play drums just because you want to play, and there's always this hustle, especially on social media. You gotta keep doing this. You gotta do that. You gotta do this. And yeah, there's a lot of people out there, like I said, they're push. But I would love to be the fly on the wall and see what they're doing, what it's like behind the scenes. What are they doing outside of, playing drums? Is their marriage going well? Is their job going well? Is their personal health going well? And I would venture a guess, maybe half, if they've got it together. And there's some that don't. And it's all right admitting you don't have it all together. I do it all the time. It's just, I think you got to be comfortable with yourself and, and admit you have things that could bring you down. And like mine is the depression and anxiety. And so it's all right to take a break. Trust me, things will keep moving and you're not going to get forgotten about. So if you're concerned about, I maintain this presence, just be straight up with your audience and say, hey, look, this is going on in my life. I need to focus on this. And once I got it all figured out, I'll get back to you. And it may take some time. And it may take some, we're going to do this together, and all of a sudden it's not happening. I get it. I totally get it. But you can't let that bring you down. So just stay strong when it comes to, what you need to stay strong in. And admit defeat when you need to. And like I said, it's not the end of the world to admit you have a shortcoming. I know our society, especially here in America, there's so much emphasis put on you've got to be perfect. And, if something's bothering you, you keep it bottled up because that's a sign of weakness. And if you're weak, people are going to roll over you, and then you're done. And I am living proof that's not the case. You can say there's a problem and then still get up and, if you got to fight your way back up to the top, or you're just in a place where, you're content. And I think that's the thing a lot of people don't really try. It's just to be content. Be happy with, who you are, what you're doing, and then go from there. So, live in the moment. I always say just live in the moment. So that is just a little quick update. I've been wanting to get out here and tell you guys just everything that's been going on. Again, thank you to everyone for their kindness and their kind words and prayers and all that fun stuff. So again, thank you. But great things to come. Great things, for sure coming up. I've got at least like 15 people I've got to get back to about getting them on the show. So I'm excited about that. And being part-time now, if a band comes into town, I'm just going to hey, I'm out. It's a short day for me. And I'll see you I'll see you tomorrow or the next week. And so I can really track down and work on getting, because I know Coin is coming to my town, so I'd really like to have Ryan from Coin on the podcast, and also Bad Sons is another band I like. They're coming to my town, so I'd love to have the drummer from there. Blanking on his name at the moment, but anyways, just have these drummers when they come to my town. I can not worry about I've got to take care of this with work. I've got to take care of this with the kids. Blah 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 blah. It's now it's freedom. You can do it now. And enjoy yourself. So that's what I'm doing. I'm enjoying myself. All right. Well, you guys have a wonderful rest of the week. I'll drop this here soon. But again, go check out Sweetwater's Deals. I know they were a sponsor of the podcast or the show. I got to stop calling it that. I keep calling it the podcast. And it is a podcast, but it's also a show. So they're a sponsor of the show. And they're also giving away a really nice DW kit with Sabian cymbals, the DW hardware. I believe it's the 5,000. Sure, I think it is. And, they've got some great deals going on. And, my Marianne, she's my, account person. And she's been really cool. She's been actually working for them for quite a while. And I think I'm going to have her on the show just to kind of hey, what do you do kind of thing. And thank you for working on deals. She worked out a good deal for me with the the Yamaha EAD10. So thank you to Marianne for, she dropped the price just a little. And this was pre father passing away. I don't know how else you put it. But anyways, yeah, so now it's, it's such a weird thing. But anyways, so go check out Sweetwater, and then go check out Toka as well. I'm looking forward to the stuff they're sending me this month to showcase for the show. And like I said, I've really enjoyed it. It's sitting right here. This little jingle hit tambourine. So it's just a great, it's like, it doesn't take up too much space on my drums, which is great. So I can like put it really pretty much anywhere I can, I need it to be, which is great. So I've been like moving it from side to side, trying different things, and it's just cool. So, and it's got it, like I said, it's got a good, and that's with my hand. So, if it was a stick, it'd be a little bit louder. But yeah, go check out Toka, and subscribe, like, and all that fun stuff. And I think I finally figured out how I want to end these podcasts. Is I saw Endgame, loved it, can't wait to see it again. And so I love the line, "I love you 3000," because I think it was such a cool line. But it's also how I feel towards, the people who support this show. I love them 3000. I don't have a cool way of saying it, like I thank you guys. So I thought, I'm stealing that line. It's such a good line. So again, thank you to everybody. Look forward to talking to you guys here soon, doing some more, live chats, on Instagram, and also doing the unboxings and all that fun stuff. So take care of yourselves, be kind, love each other, and I love you 3000. Peace.